When we speak of abundance, we are not speaking of struggle or scarcity, but of the natural flow of life itself. The universe is an endless river of opportunities, and just as the sun rises each morning without question, so too does prosperity rise to meet the one who dares to open the doors of perception. In this age, more than ever, the mind must be free from the old limitations of thinking that one source of income is sufficient. The law of prosperity has never failed, and it whispers its secret. Those who trust in infinite supply, who align their thought with the good that is already theirs, will find doors opening where walls once stood. Multiple income streams are not merely a practical tool, they are a reflection of the divine abundance that waits to pour into every life. The creative mind, attuned to the rhythm of the universe, will discover that work is not a burden but a channel through which spirit manifests as wealth. In these modern times, the landscape of opportunity has expanded beyond imagination. The gig trends, the freelance markets, the digital platforms, all are simply new expressions of the old truth. Supply follows inspired demand, and the universe is generous to the prepared mind. One is never limited to a single path, for the law of infinite supply is ever present. A wise soul understands that money is not earned only by labor, but by vision and faith. Those who diversify their streams of income do not scatter their energy, they harmonize with the invisible currents that bring creative ideas, partnerships, and ventures. Each stream, whether small or large, contributes to a river that cannot be stopped. The secret is to hold a clear mental picture of abundance, to speak the words of affirmation that align the outer world with inner thought, and to move with inspired action when opportunity calls. It is also essential to release fear, for fear is the only true obstacle to receiving. Fear of failure, fear of not having enough, fear that one's efforts are in vain. These are illusions that vanish when one claims the divine right to prosperity. To embrace multiple streams of income is not to chase wealth out of desperation, but to recognize that life itself is a festival of giving and receiving. The mind that is centered in faith and gratitude will always attract more than is necessary. Each modern gig, each entrepreneurial endeavor, each creative pursuit is a mirror of the inner abundance already present. By trusting in this flow, the individual can navigate the world with joy and ease, knowing that every opportunity is a messenger of the good that is already theirs. The intelligence of the universe conspires in favor of the soul who acts with confidence and clarity. Those who understand this law do not merely work for money, they allow life to work through them, drawing to themselves prosperity from many directions. Each income stream is a reflection of a higher order, a sign that the infinite mind is constantly providing. By affirming one's worth, visualizing success, and stepping forward without hesitation, the soul opens the gates to a symphony of abundance, where the old limitations of scarcity dissolve, and every venture, every skill, every inspired action flows naturally into reward. The law of abundance, trusting infinite supply, creates multiple opportunities. The law of abundance is a principle that governs all of life, whether one is aware of it or not. It is not something distant or difficult to grasp. It is as natural and inevitable as the sunrise, as certain as the tides. The universe is inherently generous, and it moves in rhythms of giving and receiving that are constant and dependable. To understand abundance is to understand that life is never in lack, that there is always more than enough to meet every need, every desire, and every aspiration. The human mind, when aligned with this law, becomes a magnet for opportunity, wealth, and success, because it reflects the consciousness of infinite supply. Those who cling to the old belief that resources are scarce, that one job or one income is all that can sustain life, are merely resisting the natural order. They are standing in the way of the stream that is eager to flow toward them, holding them back with invisible chains of limitation. Abundance begins in thought. It is a creative energy that manifests first as belief, then as spoken word, then as visible reality. When one understands that money, opportunity, and success are not earned only through labor but are attracted by faith and clarity of vision, the doors of life swing open in response. To affirm abundance is not a mere repetition of words, it is a mental attitude, a conscious choice to align one's inner consciousness with the inexhaustible wealth of the universe. Every thought of limitation, every fear of insufficiency, every hesitation in the face of possibility, acts as a dam to the flow. The mind that refuses to see scarcity sees nothing but struggle, while the mind that trusts in abundance sees doors where others see walls, avenues where others see obstacles, and endless possibilities where others see only endings. The law of abundance does not demand struggle, it demands alignment. It calls for a recognition that life is not a battle against lack, but a harmonious dance with the infinite. And one believes deeply and clearly that the universe is full and generous. The mind begins to act in accordance with that truth. Ideas come with sudden clarity, opportunities present themselves in unexpected ways, and resources appear where they are needed. This is not magic, but the natural law of cause and effect, applied to thought. The universe responds to the dominant thoughts and feelings that we hold. When one cultivates gratitude for what is already present, when one speaks affirmations of wealth and possibility, when one moves with courage and inspired action, the unseen intelligence of life conspires to bring abundance into form. Nothing is ever too small to begin with, for even a single inspired thought can set in motion a chain of events that multiplies beyond expectation. It is essential to understand that abundance is not measured merely in money. It is measured in freedom, in joy, in the capacity to create, in the ability to give and receive. Money is simply a symbol, a tool, a tangible expression of a higher order. Those who focus only on accumulation without recognizing the flow of life miss the essence of the law. True abundance is holistic. It encompasses health, relationships, creativity, and fulfillment in every area of life. When one opens to the law of abundance, the mind recognizes that there is no competition, no scarcity, no limit. Each person is entitled to the full richness of life, and each one can access it by aligning thought, word, and action. If the truth that there is more than enough for all. In this understanding, the very idea of a single source of income or a fixed path becomes unnecessary. The prepared mind sees multiple avenues of wealth because it recognizes that the universe works through variety and endless possibilities. The practice of affirming abundance is both simple and profound. It requires a daily commitment to speaking words that reflect the reality one desires, imagining with clarity, and acting in faith. The individual who wakes each morning and declares that life is abundant, that opportunities flow freely, that wealth and success are already theirs, begins to experience the transformation immediately. Obstacles that once seemed insurmountable dissolve, coincidences multiply, and doors that were once closed swing open effortlessly. There is no need to force, to manipulate, or to struggle against the tide. It is a gentle surrender to the natural flow of life, trusting that every step taken in alignment with abundance is supported by the infinite intelligence that governs all things. Even setbacks are reframed as lessons, as guides directing the individual to a higher path, for the law never fails. Only the human mind sometimes misinterprets the signs. Abundance is intimately tied to faith, not faith in some distant entity, but faith in the intelligence of life itself, faith in the invisible order that governs all creation. When one cultivates this faith, fear falls away, hesitation disappears, and action becomes inspired. The law of abundance is impartial. It does not favor some over others, nor does it withhold from those who seek. It is available to all who are willing to recognize it, to release limitation, to speak the words of power, to hold the vision of prosperity, and to walk confidently toward opportunity. In the modern world, this law takes on practical expression through multiple income streams, entrepreneurial ventures, gig opportunities, and creative pursuits. But the principle remains unchanged. Every venture, every endeavor, every inspired action becomes a conduit for the flow of wealth, not because of effort alone, but because the mind is in harmony with the inexhaustible abundance of life. Modern gigs and freelance markets are new channels of prosperity. Modern gigs and freelance markets are more than a trend. They are the visible expression of a deeper, eternal principle. The infinite intelligence of life always provides ways for creativity and skill to be translated into abundance. Just as the river finds its course to the ocean without resistance, so too do modern opportunities flow to those who are ready to receive. The world has shifted, and with it, the way prosperity manifests has changed, yet the underlying law remains the same. The universe responds to initiative, to clarity of vision, and to faith in the inexhaustible supply that surrounds us. In this era, the doors of opportunity are not hidden behind traditional structures. They reopen, abundant, and waiting for the mind that dares to recognize them. Freelance work, digital platforms, contract opportunities, and independent projects are all mirrors of the divine law, that there is always more than enough, that talent and creativity are never wasted, and that abundance is not confined to any one source. Every modern gig, every freelance venture, is an invitation to align with the universal flow. They are manifestations of the principle that ideas, when combined with inspired action, attract the necessary resources. To succeed in these opportunities is not merely a matter of skill or luck, it is a matter of understanding that the mind projects into the unseen first, and then life arranges the circumstances to match. Those who approach these ventures with hesitation, fear, or doubt often see walls where there are only doors, scarcity where there is plenitude, and limitation where there is freedom. Conversely, those who embrace possibility, who affirm that the universe is full of opportunities, and who step forward with confidence, find that ideas meet with support, clients appear, resources converge, and success unfolds with seemingly effortless grace. The universe is ever generous to the one who trusts in its intelligence and moves with inspired faith. The freelance world, the gig economy, and modern digital platforms allow the individual to align labor with passion, to express creativity in ways that are rewarded, not merely by wages, but by a reflect ion of inner worth. No longer is abundance dependent on a single employer, a single salary, or a single path. The prepared mind sees every talent, every skill, and every interest as a potential avenue for income, and each avenue is supported by the law of supply and demand in alignment with purpose. When one recognizes that their gifts are inherently valuable, that the universe has provided them with unique capabilities for the good of all, every gig becomes a channel for prosperity. Each project undertaken with clarity, integrity, and inspired action is a manifestation of the law of abundance, and each success is a confirmation that the divine intelligence operates without error. Faith and visualization are essential in navigating these modern avenues. One must see the ideal client, the ideal opportunity, and the ideal outcome as already present. The universe responds to mental images held firmly and spoken aloud with confidence. When one declares, "I am a magnet for rewarding opportunities, clients, projects, and income flow to me effortlessly," the law is set in motion. The world conforms to the thought. The modern gig market may seem competitive, crowded, or unpredictable to the unprepared mind, but to the one attuned to the invisible order, it is a playground of endless possibilities. Each obstacle is temporary, each rejection is a redirection, and every success is a reflection of alignment with the law of life. The individual who knows this law moves not with anxiety or desperation, but with assurance and courage, knowing that the river of opportunity flows abundantly in every direction. Flexibility is a reflection of faith in this system. Just as the river bends around stones, so must one bend with circumstances while maintaining the vision of abundance. Freelance work requires adaptability, willingness to explore new skills, and openness to collaboration. But these are not limitations. They are invitations from the universe to expand awareness and deepen trust in the flow of life. By holding an unshakable belief in abundance, the individual turns every project into a learning experience, every client into a teacher, and every challenge into an opportunity to strengthen faith. Money, resources, and recognition follow the one whose mind is attuned to possibilities rather than fixed on scarcity. The gig world rewards those who are willing to think creatively, act decisively, and maintain a high vibration of expectation and gratitude. The law of abundance is impartial and universal, and it operates through the individual's willingness to recognize it. Modern gigs and freelance opportunities simply provide practical avenues for expressing this law in action. They are channels through which thought becomes reality, through which inner confidence, clarity, and faith are translated into tangible results. By embracing these avenues, the mind expands beyond the old limitations of traditional employment, discovering that wealth and success are not tied to a single path or a single source. Each project, each contract, each freelance opportunity is an affirmation that the universe is generous and that life responds to those who align with its intelligence. The abundance that flows through modern gigs is not random. It is a direct reflection of the clarity, courage, and faith of the one who engages with it. proving that the invisible law always precedes the visible manifestation. Diversifying income streams aligns with the natural flow of creativity. Diversifying income streams is not merely a strategy for financial security, it is a spiritual alignment with the infinite intelligence of the universe, which moves in ever-expanding patterns of abundance. The law of life provides endlessly, yet many limit themselves by thinking in terms of only one channel, one source, or one path. To hold a single source of income as the measure of security is to place one's trust in the finite, rather than the limitless flow of existence. True prosperity is holistic, dynamic, and multifaceted, and it requires the individual to recognize that life offers opportunities in countless directions simultaneously. When the mind embraces variety, creativity, and multiplicity, it opens itself to a flow that is not dependent on luck, timing, or circumstance, for the law of supply responds to the clarity and faith of thought. Each income stream becomes not a separate struggle, but a harmonious extension of the soul's purpose, a reflection of one's alignment with abundance itself. The principle of multiple streams of income works because it mirrors the natural order of life. Nature never relies on a single process, a single source, or a single path. Trees absorb sunlight, water, and nutrients simultaneously. Rivers feed into oceans, lakes, and underground reservoirs. The seasons bring growth in multiple cycles. Similarly, the human mind, when attuned to abundance, recognizes that prosperity comes from a multitude of avenues. When one cultivates several sources of income, whether through employment, entrepreneurial ventures, investments, creative work, or digital opportunities, the individual creates a symphony of channels through which life can flow. Each stream is a reflection of the divine law that there is more than enough for all, that wealth is not a finite object to be fought over, but an energy to be received, expanded, and circulated. The prepared mind sees every skill, talent, and interest as a potential conduit for abundance, and in doing so, multiplies opportunities beyond imagination. Diversification requires not only awareness of opportunity, but also the courage to step beyond conventional boundaries. Many resist creating multiple streams because they fear spreading themselves too thin, fear failure, or fear stepping into unknown territory. Yet the very law that governs success assures that the individual who acts in faith is always supported. Fear is the only true obstacle to abundance, and when it is laced with confidence, every avenue pursued becomes a channel for wealth and growth. To hold several income streams in alignment with purpose does not scatter energy, rather, it strengthens the resonance with the law of prosperity, for life always responds to clarity, courage, and consistent action. Each stream, however small at the beginning, multiplies through the invisible intelligence of the universe, bringing resources, ideas, and opportunities that could not have been foreseen. Gratitude and visualization are vital components in diversifying income. The individual who holds a clear picture of success in each area, and who feels deep appreciation for the wealth already present, activates the law of attraction in every channel. Every income stream begins as a thought, an intention, a declaration of faith that abundance is not only possible but inevitable. The mind that affirms, "I am open to multiple avenues of prosperity. Each stream flows effortlessly and abundantly into my life," begins to align the outer world with this vision. Modern opportunities, from freelancing and consulting to online ventures, investments, creative projects, and partnerships, respond to this alignment. The universe does not differentiate between streams, it responds to the energy behind the thought. Each act of inspired action, each pursuit undertaken with clarity, integrity, and joy, becomes a magnet for more, and the streams themselves begin to intertwine, creating a river of abundance that grows stronger with each moment. Flexibility and discernment are also essential in managing multiple streams of income. The law of abundance does not require rigidity. It requires awareness and inspired decision-making. Not every opportunity is meant to be pursued, yet the prepared mind recognizes that guidance comes from both intuition and the unfolding circumstances of life. The individual who trusts in the divine intelligence knows when to step forward and when to wait, when to nurture one stream and when to explore another. This ability to respond wisely strengthens the flow, for abundance is not created through frantic effort, but through harmonized action with the law. Each stream reinforces the others, Each success supports the next, and every lesson along the way refines understanding and alignment. This is the natural order, diversity in sources, unity in vision, and harmony in execution. The principle of multiple income streams also nurtures inner freedom. Dependence on a single source of income can create stress, fear, and limitation, whereas multiple streams empower the individual to operate from a place of confidence and faith. One is no longer bound by circumstance, nor limited by timing, nor fearful of change. The abundance of life is mirrored in the abundance of income channels, and each stream becomes a testament to the law of prosperity. The prepared mind does not hoard or cling, it circulates, invests, shares, and multiplies the wealth that flows. Understand. Ending. That giving and receiving are inseparable. In this way, diversification is not just a financial principle, but a spiritual practice, reflecting alignment with the invisible intelligence that governs all creation, and allowing life to flow in rich, unending variety. Fear blocks wealth, faith, and inspired action open doors. Fear is the greatest barrier to prosperity, and it is the single force that blocks the natural flow of abundance, from the invisible to the visible. The human mind often clings to old limitations, whispering doubts that the universe is stingy, that resources are scarce, that failure is inevitable, and that security can only come from a single source. Yet the truth is the opposite. Life is an ever-expanding flow of opportunities, wealth, and creativity, always ready to meet the one who trusts in its intelligence. Fear contracts the mind, tightens the spirit, and closes doors that were otherwise wide open. Faith, however, expands the consciousness, opens pathways, and invites the invisible forces to move freely in support of one's desires. To release fear is not a passive act, it is an active, conscious decision to claim the divine right to abundance and to affirm that life, in all its forms, conspires in favor of the prepared soul. Every thought of worry, every hesitation born of doubt, and every imagined limitation diminishes the flow, while faith, clarity, and expectation magnify it, attracting opportunities, resources, and connections that appear as by magic, yet are only responding to the immutable law of cause and effect in the unseen realm. Faith is not a hope for the future, it is a present state of mind, a living recognition that the universe is full and generous, that success and abundance are already circulating invisibly, waiting to manifest through inspired action. When fear dominates, the mind cannot perceive these subtle currents. The individual may see doors as walls, challenges as insurmountable, and competition as a threat, yet these are mere reflections of inner disbelief. The law of abundance is impartial and unwavering. It is neither cruel nor selective. It responds only to the dominant thoughts and beliefs held within the mind and heart. To act with faith is to acknowledge that failure is impossible when one's consciousness is aligned with the invisible intelligence, that setbacks are temporary lessons rather than final judgments, and that every inspired step taken in confidence is supported by forces beyond ordinary comprehension. Modern opportunities, multiple income streams, freelance ventures, creative projects, and entrepreneurial pursuits all thrive in this environment of faith, and they falter only when fear interferes, clouding perception and constricting energy. Inspired action is the bridge between faith and manifestation. To believe in abundance without acting is like holding a seed without planting it. The potential exists, but the fruit cannot appear. Fear often manifests as inaction, hesitation, or excessive caution. It whispers that it is too late, that one is not ready, that risks are too great, or that the world is unfair. Yet the mind that trusts the law of prosperity knows that every obstacle is temporary, every challenge is a teacher, and every opportunity is a messenger of the good that already exists. Acting in faith, even when uncertainty seems present, sends a signal to the universe that one is ready to receive. Each step, each decision, each engagement in work or creative pursuit becomes a conduit for abundance. For the universe does not distinguish between great and small actions. It responds to clarity of intention, courage, and belief in the invisible order. Fear has no power where faith is fully expressed, for it is simply a thought form, a projection of disbelief that dissolves when met with confidence and expectation. Gratitude strengthens faith and releases fear. The mind that dwells on what is missing or lacking creates a vacuum, a silent declaration that abundance is absent. Gratitude, by contrast, acknowledges the flow already present, magnifies its effect, and attracts more to be received. In the modern world, this principle applies to multiple income streams, freelance ventures, and entrepreneurial endeavors, where fear often arises from comparison, perceived competition, or the uncertainty of new paths. Yet a mind centered in appreciation sees each opportunity as a gift, each challenge as a lesson, and each client, partner, or proj as an expression of the universal intelligence. By affirming the good that is already present, one removes the imagined scarcity and opens the channels for continuous provision. Fear cannot coexist with gratitude, it fades in the presence of acknowledgement, faith, and confident expectation. The law responds instantly to this shift in consciousness, sending resources, opportunities, and ideas in proportion to the readiness of the individual to receive and act. Visualization and affirmation are tools to neutralize fear and strengthen faith. The mind should be trained to see success, to hear words of encouragement and affirmation spoken in the present tense, and to feel the emotions associated with already having achieved the desired outcome. When one says, "I am confident, I am capable, opportunities flow to me, and abundance is my natural state," the universe conforms to the vibration of that declaration. Fear, which shrinks, doubts, and hesitates, cannot penetrate the mind held steady in this conscious expectation. Modern income streams, gigs, and entrepreneurial endeavors require this clarity, for they often present challenges that test patience, creativity, and perseverance. Yet the law assures that the one who trusts, who visualizes, and who acts with faith is always supplied, always guided, and always protected from lack. Every new venture undertaken in this state becomes a magnet for resources, collaborators, clients, and ideas that bring it to fruition, reinforcing the law of abundance and further dissolving any remnants of fear. Understanding that fear is an illusion created by the mind allows one to respond wisely. It is not necessary to eliminate every doubt or challenge, but to recognize that fear has no real power. It is a false projection of limitation that disappears when confronted with the certainty of abundance. The individual who chooses faith, who takes action, who visualizes clearly, and who expresses gratitude, aligns completely with the law, creating an environment in which multiple income streams flourish effortlessly. The energy that fear consumes is redirected to creative, productive, and profitable channels. In this alignment, modern opportunities are no longer intimidating. They become vehicles of expression, channels of creativity, and instruments through which abundance manifests. Fear is replaced by expectation, doubt by clarity, and hesitation by inspired action, allowing the invisible forces of life to operate in perfect harmony with one's intentions, bringing prosperity in its many forms with grace and ease. Every skill and effort becomes a mirror of inner abundance when aligned with purpose. Every skill, effort, and endeavor becomes a mirror of inner abundance when it is aligned with purpose, clarity, and faith. The law of prosperity is impartial, and it responds not to mere labor, but to the consciousness behind the labor. Many believe that success comes only from hard work or from hours spent, but the truth is far deeper. The universe responds to the quality of thought, to the conviction of belief, and to the harmony of intention. Each talent, no matter how small it may seem, is a reflection of the divine creative intelligence, and when it is used in alignment with this law, it naturally attracts opportunities, resources, and recognition. The individual who understands this does not chase wealth blindly, nor struggle against circumstances, but channels energy into inspired action, knowing that the outer manifestation will inevitably reflect the inner state of consciousness. Every skill becomes a magnet when it is exercised with clarity, confidence, and an expectation of good, and the universe arranges circumstances to reward the effort in proportion to faith. The principle applies equally to modern opportunities, freelance work, entrepreneurial projects, or multiple streams of income. Each undertaking is not merely a means of exchange, but a reflection of inner worth and alignment. A task completed with focus, excellence, and integrity carries a vibration of abundance that draws other avenues of prosperity to it. This is the law at work. Effort is multiplied when the mind is centered in faith and expectation, rather than in fear or doubt. Skills are never isolated. They resonate, expand, and attract the people, circumstances, and opportunities that match their frequency. A writer's words, a designer's creativity, a consultant's insight, a teacher's guidance, or a digital creator's vision, all of these, when exercised with faith and clarity, act as magnets for abundance, bringing clients, opportunities, collaborations, and financial reward in ways that are often beyond calculation or prediction. Gratitude and recognition of value amplify this effect. The mind that sees each skill as a gift, each effort as a contribution, and each success as an affirmation of the law of abundance, strengthens the flow of prosperity. By acknowledging that the talent and effort already possessed are inherently valuable, the individual opens the channels for even greater manifestations. Fear, doubt, comparison, and self-limitation block these channels, whereas affirmation, trust, and appreciation expand them. When one approaches every task with the awareness that it is an expression of inner abundance, the outer world mirrors this understanding, presenting opportunities, resources, and success in proportion to the alignment. Every act of skill becomes a demonstration of the law, a reflection of the invisible intelligence, and a confirmation that abundance is infinite and ever-present. Visualization is also key to magnifying the effect of each skill. The mind must clearly see the successful outcome of each endeavor, feel the emotions associated with accomplishment, and maintain a steadfast expectation of good. This is the bridge between inner faith and outer manifestation. Each client gained, each project completed, and each income stream nurtured is a tangible reflection of this invisible law. By holding the image of success, maintaining confident thought, and taking consistent, inspired action, the individual transforms ordinary skills into extraordinary sources of abundance. Modern gig trends, entrepreneurial projects, and diversified income opportunities all respond directly to this inner alignment. The universe does not separate effort from result. It responds to the energy, clarity, and expectation behind every action, ensuring that each skill exercised with faith multiplies its effect and attracts its proportionate reward. Effort itself, when motivated by purpose rather than desperation, becomes a creative force. The mind focused on contribution, excellence, and service vibrates at a frequency that attracts prosperity in many forms. Each project completed, each problem solved, each act of creativity, and each entrepreneurial initiative is like a pebble dropped into the river of life, creating ripples that expand into waves of opportunity. Skills exercised in alignment with abundance carry a natural authority, confidence, and magnetism that attract resources, recognition, and collaboration. Even challenges and setbacks, when approached with faith and learning, serve to strengthen this alignment, refining skills, increasing wisdom, and enhancing the capacity to receive greater abundance. The universe honors growth, initiative, and inner clarity, responding in perfect proportion to the individual who acts in harmony with its principles. The idea of multiple streams of income, modern gig opportunities, and entrepreneurial ventures finds its greatest power when each skill and effort is treated as a reflection of abundance. Money, resources, clients, and opportunities are drawn to the one who respects the value of their own talents, who approaches work with integrity, and who maintains a mindset of expectation rather than scarcity. Each skill, when exercised with clarity, is like a magnet. Each act of effort, when inspired, becomes a channel through which abundance flows. The law of life does not differentiate between small or large, traditional or modern. It responds to the energy behind the action, and when that energy is aligned with faith, confidence, and gratitude, the results are multiplied, compounded, and amplified. In this way, every skill, every effort, every venture becomes a living testimony to the infinite supply of the universe and the power of conscious alignment. Faith, gratitude, visualization, and inspired action together transform ordinary abilities into extraordinary sources of wealth and opportunity. The prepared mind recognizes that talent is never wasted, that effort is never in vain, and that the universe always responds to alignment rather than struggle. Each project undertaken, each client served, and each new endeavor explored is a reflection of inner abundance made visible. By treating every skill as valuable, every effort as significant, and every opportunity as a reflection of the divine flow, the individual activates channels of prosperity that are continuous, reliable, and self-reinforcing. The outer world becomes a mirror of the inner consciousness, reflecting not merely what one hopes for, but what one truly expects, believes, and embodies, transforming every skill and effort into a living, tangible expression of abundance.